and you're gonna have to go to Europe. You're gonna have to go to Portugal. You're gonna have to go to where else? You're gonna have to go down to Brazil and stake your claim. Like if you really want to get gully with it, you see what I'm saying? Like, and part of that, you know, they call that the, you know, I don't want to put slander in, but the Moors that did that were the ones that was, you know, it was all business. It was all business.
And they quick to tell you to go home, go back where you came from. And they the ones need to go back to where they came from, because it's not their land.
Right.
It's not their land. It's not their home.
And went through into Spain and Portugal and took over. So when you hear the greatness of what the Moors did, yes, they did that, but they also were enslaving to build their own up. And then they came over here and did commerce. I'm reading a book called The Negro in the Caribbean, and they were bringing. I mean, listen, it gets really deep, and it gets stickier the deeper you go, because it is broken down into a term, but we have to get out of the thought process of what we were taught for so many centuries, that it was the pale-faced European. No, these people were Europeans as well. They were just darker complexion. The original Irish and the original Scottish, they were complexions of Brother Smitty and Brother Antdorf on this end, right? Okay.
Some of them had glass. They were the
Say
black
that again.
people. They were some of the black people that also had like blue eyes. I know what you're referring to. I would say to the one part when you talking about the Caribbean.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. We all know the movie The Pirates of the Caribbean, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, so who's the star character?
Right.
Johnny Depp.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Depp. So my point is, if you look at Johnny Depp, what do? They kind of blackface him a little bit. They make him real brown, and then they give him locks. Now, pay attention. They call it Pirates of the Caribbean. My black behind, it took a minute for me to realize it's just Caribbean. They didn't want to say Caribbean and then have white people playing it because it wouldn't seem right. So they literally just say Caribbean and then throw the white people in. It's just that little twist throws you off. And it took me about 3 movies to catch on. I never caught it at first.
I never really watched that.
Yeah. I mean, you don't even have to watch all things. Just look at a picture of the cover or whatever, and just look at Johnny Depp and how he looks, how they make him tannish brown, how they give him locks in his hair, and then they call it Caribbean. It's just Caribbean. It's Caribbean. Right. But you know, if you say Caribbean, you got to make them folks look a certain way, because don't nobody identify Caribbean with somebody who looks like Johnny Depp or Brad Pitt.
Right.
Exactly.
Yo, Smitty, check about this, right? You see how you just said that, right? You see how you did that? I appreciate that. Peace and salute to you. I got my mind open when my homeboy broke it down and was like, why is Tom Cruise playing The Last Samurai? And they did the same thing to Tom Cruise on The Last Samurai. Nah, go ahead.
Hold on,
bro.
Let's take it even deeper. My man.
The King of Scotland was Forrest Whitaker. And we're thinking, now see how they role reverse that. In the King of Scotland, the movie with Forrest Whitaker, in our minds, Scotland is what we associate that as a pale-skinned European. But they was telling us in the movie that no, the real King of Scotland was a melanated man.
Well, not just that. I mean, listen. This is my main thing that really. This is the main thing that really gets me. Respect, Foxy. I have yet to find out. I remember when I was incarcerated, right? And y'all see where I'm going. They always had a time where it was Spanish TV, right? And this time with the Spanish guys, they get their turn with the TV. So anyway, they would turn to their Spanish shows, and it was one show that they loved to watch. And I forgot the name of it, but it's basically a Spanish show of Spanish people playing Egyptians. So my point is, I have seen any and everybody play Egyptians except anybody that looks like us. And I find it funny whenever they do have it. Like, for example, what was that? My man who played in 300, and he played like Horus and Set, that Egyptian movie that came out, something Gods or whatever, and it was just two white guys that was playing Horus and Set.
Right.
So my whole thing is, we all know why Napoleon went by with the airplane and struck the nose off the Sphinx. It was because they didn't want you to see the features. That's why the nose of the Sphinx is gone, for those who are not hip. Napoleon did that, and he did that when he saw that the temples and pyramids and everything out there were basically constructed and formed by Negroes, okay, us. And so that's what they did to kind of hide this the features, because we all can tell what something is by the nose and them lips. I don't care if it's in stone or what. You see them nostrils, you see them lips, you know where it came from, point blank, period. Right?
Right.
So I'm just to the point where I'm like, when are we going to see? And this is where I kind of get a little frustrated with us just a little bit, because I'm like, I think we should demand that a lot more. Like, it should be no reason why. Do you think they will allow Denzel Washington to play somebody like Pablo Escobar or El Chapo or something? Do you think a Samuel Jackson would be allowed to play like, you know, one of the royal family, like a prince or something? No, bro. They're going to do everything they can to keep that depiction exactly what it was. But for some reason, ours is the only one that can get all mixed up and swirled and have all these little additives added to it. Everybody else is just raw and natural. We got to get all these hormones pumped into our stuff when it was just fine from the jump. But I digress. My mic is muted.